All right. Good morning again, everybody. This is Uma coming to you from the Morning Musings Show. Today, our topic is on establishing healthy boundaries. So, I wanted to do this topic because yesterday I was in somebody's stream. We were having a great conversation, and I was sharing my point of view, which was, for the most part, largely taken well by the number of people that were there. But for some reason, there was one person that had issues with what I was saying. And I thought to myself, because I'm always thinking, what am I going to talk about the next day? Like, what's going to be the topic of the day, right? And I said, let me talk about establishing healthy boundaries because I believe that this happens to a lot of people. Put a one in the comments if you are on Facebook or Instagram or live streams and you have your opinion, your personal opinion, not bothering anybody, and then somebody comes with their own opinions, but it almost comes like attacking. Like I was called delusional. Uh, I was called all sorts of things because I was asked about my beliefs and I shared my beliefs, and the hostess, and a lot of people in the room loved it, except this one person. And I was cool with it. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to teach today about establishing healthy boundaries. So, the first thing I want to say to you guys about healthy boundaries is when people are coming at you in that kind of situation, let's say you're in a live stream or you're doing a Facebook Live or a YouTube Live or a TikTok Live or whatever, and there's somebody that's in the comments that's just always coming at you, coming at you, coming at you, ignore them. That's a boundary, right? Because just because they have a point of view doesn't mean you have to entertain it, right? And the thing is like, I feel that this is old programming, that we always feel the need to respond to something sent our way. So think about it this way. When you were a child, right? Didn't your parents expect you to, if they ask you a question or they talk to you, that you have to talk back or answer the question, right? But guess what? We're not children anymore. We're adults. And we can choose which conversations we're going to entertain and which ones we're just going to ignore. But here's the thing, if you're going to do that, because I do that all the time as a live streamer, as you see the comments coming in, I'm paying attention to actually, Needle was right. That person was a Christian, very much so. Hit it right on the head. Uh, that's really cool. So lots of comments be coming in and I pay attention to the ones that I want to pay attention to. Now, some people have taken that so many different ways. Sometimes people say that I don't foster healthy debate, healthy conversations. I don't allow people to share their opinions. None of that is true. You can write to your heart's content everything that you want in the comments. I'm just not going to pay attention to it because I'm staying on track with what I want to talk about, right? So that is one way you can establish healthy boundaries is when you're doing something, say like a live or you're having a conversation and you have like the peanut gallery, it could be one person, two people, whatever, and they're pitching in things that is disruptive to what you're talking about, to your feelings, to whatever that you're experiencing, just ignore it. That person really acted up yesterday because they were so worked up. They just kept actually copy pasting their comments. Like I think they thought I wasn't seeing it. Right? Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, okay, I see all of what you're saying, but I really don't care, right? I really don't care. And at the end of the day, everybody that says what they want to say, they all have opinions. We all have opinions. I don't ever expect anybody to listen to me talking and take it at words value or God's value. I just expect you to listen. If you're in my stream, of course, you're here to listen. And if you like it, take it. If you don't like it, leave it alone. That's all. It's not a big deal. Other ways you can establish healthy boundaries: clear communication. Don't assume people know what you want regarding the status of the relationship with them. If you're my friend, I'm never going to assume you know what I expect out of you as a friend. If you're my man, I'm never going to assume you know what I expect out of you as my man. In the beginning, when I started dating my partner, I would say things that he would say, duh, like that's a given. And I say, no, I don't want to assume. Like when we got into a relationship, I said, um, with us being in a relationship, does that mean that we're not talking to other people? We're not seeing other people? And he's like, what kind of question is that? Because the thing is for the majority of us, that is what a relationship means. But not everybody is raised the same way or have the same thinking, right? So that's why when I coach my women, I am a dating coach, so I do have a lot of women that come to me to talk to me about their relationship issues, and they say, oh, it's like a situationship, and we're not in a relationship, but I treat him like he's my boyfriend, but he doesn't claim me. And I said, but this sounds like a lot like miscommunication, and you got to clear that up, right? So have these conversations. Have these conversations. I have that all the time. Like, even though I'm in a relationship, I still have conversations with my man about what is expected, what's not expected. Like, if he went away to New York for, close to a month, and I said, so while you're away, we're not talking to other people and we're not seeing other people, right? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, I'm just being clear, because there is that there is that, what do people say, different area codes, different zip codes, right? You're not in a relationship if you're in a different zip code or whatever. So you just never know. So it doesn't hurt. It's free to ask questions, right? You're just clarifying. Exactly. So that's one way to create healthy boundaries. When I travel with my friends, right? Let's say I used to have a group of girls I used to go to Virginia Beach with, because Virginia Beach is 2.5 hours away. And of course, there were women in my group that wanted to save money. So they wanted to like drive together, or they wanted to share rooms. And I would tell them, I really like, if I like go on a trip with people, I really prefer to drive by myself, because I like to listen to my podcasts, or just be by myself, or call my friends I haven't talked to in a while. I like to take that time as a self-care time. And then I definitely need, all the time, my own hotel room. All the time. I will always need my own hotel room. That's just a given. So what I would do is I would express this to my friends. You know, the car driving, I didn't mind. I was like, you know what? It's only 2.5 hours. Yeah, that's fine. All of you can pile in my car. I can drive, not a problem. But once we get there, I would like my own hotel room. Right? That's it, Afro. I got hoes in. I was trying to remember the lyric. You're so smart. I got hoes in different area codes. Right, Heart? So that's another way, is you got to communicate to people what you expect out of them. Now, here's the thing. If you communicate to people what you expect out of them and they have some sort of feeling about it, those aren't your people. Those are not your people, because those people are very good at getting away with crossing boundaries, crossing lines. And they're upset that you are putting down your foot about what the line is. They don't like it. They don't like the line. You always want people that respect the line, right? You always want people that respect the line. So, hi, Lizzie. So, and people will like hit me up on Instagram. Yesterday I had a woman hit me up and she said, hey, when you have, time, I want to do a chat with you. And I said, well, I don't have time. I'm a very busy woman, but what I can do is I was like, if it's not a private conversation, you can just hit me, on the live, and we can talk about it in the group and whatever else. Or you can book me for a session or whatever, and we worked it out between ourselves, right? So the thing is like, that's a way of establishing healthy boundaries. Another thing too about establishing healthy boundaries is, before you even establish boundaries with other people, you got to know yourself, and you got to stop trying to fit in rather than going on blind. Exactly what's good. If you don't know who you are and what you like, or if you are a people pleaser, you can't have healthy boundaries. And then when people start crossing your boundaries, you can't get mad at them. You can't get mad at them, right? Know what you like and what you don't like. So let's run a little exercise right now. Let's start very easy with family. What are your expectations about communication with for those of you that have parents that are here and alive and well, what are your expectations about communication with your parents? How often do you want to speak to your parents? For those of you that don't have your parents, pick uh, a sibling or an aunt or uncle, or somebody that you tend to communicate with on a regular basis. What are your expectations? So like, I'll tell you guys, for me, my expectations are Sundays. I check in with my parents every Sunday. And of course, my mom can see me on Facebook. because she has Facebook. And then, if we need anything from each other, we text throughout the week. I'm not a big phone person, but on Sunday, I will make that call to check in on my parents. I expect it to be positive and peaceful. That is a good one. So now K Rose has a very strong boundary. If you're calling me, I already got a lot going on in my life. I don't need you to add to the stress. I don't need to hear about who baby mama, uncle, auntie, cousin, second wife is doing what. Like, just keep it about us. Keep it, clear, organic. My off days. Okay. So these are things that you can do. Now, with your friendships, what do you expect about your friends? What do you expect about your friends? Good. I will take suggestions, but my decision is final, even if I am wrong. Okay, so Shorty expects nothing of her friends. You might want to clear that energy up a little bit, and I'll tell you why. Because if you expect nothing, then whatever they bring to you can create some sort of chaos if it is not in alignment with your values. My mom is super negative. I have to get to a certain headspace to talk to her. So you know what you do? If you have a super negative person in your life, but you still want to check on them, keep it to text or have a time limit, right? So, yeah. So like in the beginning, my mom and I did not have the best relationship. She was super negative. She was super gossipy. She had like all the Caribbean attributes going on at the same time. So what I would do is I would call her or she would call me and I would let her rant and rave for 10 minutes. Yeah, for 10 minutes because she would want to talk about everybody. She would want to talk about everything that's going on in her life. She would want to talk about how, my dad is, everything. And then after 10 minutes, I will conveniently have to go to make dinner or I have a client. Remember I told you guys I lie? I lie all the time because I follow the motto, it is better to be kind than to be right. So being truthful is not so important to me. Being kind is more important to me than being truthful. Does that make sense, guys? But friends, I expect them to have fun conversations and have my back when I need to, but no trouble. Yeah. I just don't do mess. Yeah. Yeah. So my expectations for my friends is that they have an open mind and they're easygoing because I have so much creative energy going. I don't like to say chaos. I have so much creative energy going on in my life that I don't need somebody who's closed-minded or judgmental, like, so it is an expectation of mine that they are open-minded and easygoing. I'm still myself as well. Right. So that's why I say you want to clean it up. Maybe, Shorty, if you shift to having expectations, I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe it might be different. Maybe you might find people that show up the way you need them to show up. Does that make sense? There's times you need to address things rather than put it on the back burner. Like when what's good. So yeah, if I meet all of you guys on here and my intention is to become friends with all of you. And over, for me, it's time because that's another expectation I have is I don't do the quick friendships. Like I know there's a lot of people that are impulsive on lives and they want to jump into a friendship or a relationship very quickly. I'm not that kind of person, right? I'm slow and steady wins the race. So if I'm rocking with you for a year, as in just this, we're just chatting for a year and you are consistently the same person, that's a good sign for me to progress to the next level. What's the next level? Maybe conversations off the app. And then if after another year of doing that and you're consistent there, maybe then it's the next level. What's the next level? I might actually start to share bits of my life with you. I might start to share with you what's on my mind or what I'm worried about or concerned with, Norm of wanting to be around people that think like us. I mean, you could if you want to. Yeah, that's definitely a perspective. It's less about thinking like us and more about being in alignment. Exactly. That's what I was trying to get at. K Rose hit it on the head. I don't need people to be like me. I just need people to be easygoing and open-minded, So however that fits is however that fits. I don't feel I'm not around closed-minded people, judgmental people, people who have high opinions and stick to their opinions. That's not my crowd. It's not to say it's a bad crowd because there's a lot of people who like that, who like people to be very highly opinionated, very angry about their beliefs. I'm going to defend this till I die. And I'm kind of more fluid. I'm a Gemini moon. So I'm kind of like, I'll defend this right now. I feel like it. maybe tomorrow I might not. Maybe the next day I might even go against it. I like that fluidity in my life. So I need people that are that. I think that's why I'm so much friends with air signs, right? There you go. You can be extremely different, but fundamentally value the same things. And that's the thing too, because my best friend Sarah is an Aries. And I talk about Sarah all the time on here. We are so different. She is impulsive. I am not. She's impulsive. I'm practical. She moves fast. I move slow. She likes to do a million things. I like to do one thing. But we get together and we have a great time. You know why? Because in that moment that we're hanging out, she enjoys the peace and calm I bring, and I enjoy the fun energy she brings. Right. And we don't use it to define each other. Like, I don't sit there and say she needs to be more like me, or she feels like Uma needs to open up and be more like me. You just kind of gel. Right. And then we have a high respect for each other's time because we're both busy CEO, women. Another way to establish healthy boundaries. So one, you got to know yourself. You got to know what you like, what you don't like, what you can compromise on. Two, you got to express these, you got to communicate these boundaries to people. Three, you got to be willing to let go and walk away when the energy is just not there. There are a lot of streamers that I'm friends with that I no longer go to their rooms, and they don't come to my room, and it's nothing bad. It's not because recently, just the other day, somebody asked me why a guy doesn't come to my room anymore. I said, oh no, we don't gel anymore. And I don't know if people took that in a negative way. It's not negative. It's just, as we progressed in our talking and getting to know each other, just what he was about and what I'm about, it's different things. It's not to say that either of us are bad people. As walking away from streaming. Yeah. Yeah. To each their. So, you might see somebody in here all the time and then give it a couple weeks and they're never back here. That's normal for me. And it's a form of boundary, because if I feel like the things you're talking on or focusing on is not in alignment with what I'm talking on and focusing on, the reason why I walk away a lot from relationships is because I don't have that much time. I have a time for my life, my children, my man, my inner circle, my joy, my hobbies, but I don't have time for wanting to invest in somebody who is so far away, different from me. Um, and I really don't have a need to want to change anybody either. I just want to be with the ones who are kind of like on the same path like me, if that makes sense. So what does that look like? Somebody who's on the same path like me, somebody who's striving for more. I like to see people who are movers and shakers. I like to be inspired by people. I like to see people who don't give up. I like to see people who could get knocked down 20 times and rise up 50 times. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just like to see people who keep at it and who keep a sunny, positive attitude while they're at it. Like, that's a real turn on for me, honestly. If you could have the worst things happen to you and you still got a smile on your face, put a little lipstick on, you're like, I'm gonna beat this day, right? I love it. Like, that's the kind of spirit I like. So in establishing healthy boundaries, you got to know yourself first. You got to communicate with the people around you. And you also got to respect your time and yourself. Stop people pleasing. Stop wanting to be liked. Not everybody in the world is going to like you. So get used to that idea right now. Not everybody in the world is going to like you. And you don't need everybody in the world to like you. You just need to find 2 or 3 at best that like you really well, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. All right. Okay. That's my talk on health.